I don't, and the military means a lot to him, so it means a lot to me. His goals and his dreams, I embrace them, and they become part of my dreams and my goals. And so, if it were possible for him to be in the military, like when he was answering for would have to change, they would have to change a whole. Well, not even a lot. It's just their own policies as far as like just accepting people of trans. We've already opened it up with letting people who are gay and lesbian serve and be open. And I just hope that if it were to happen, that we wouldn't have to out ourselves every time that I'm trans, and that's why I'm not running the mile as fast or lifting as much weights or doing this, because they can do just as much. It's just how much that person wants to do. It's within their own, their abilities. So, I would love if he would able to be in the military, but they're not having to out ourselves, not the insurance covering, just him, because it's his health that's involved. When I think of hormone therapy, I think of liver damage and all kinds of other medical problems and issues that can arise from transitioning. So I would want those things to be able to be covered so that if it did happen, we can get it fixed and then he can continue to serve. Because as long as he has breath, he would do it. So, and then also for our family to be able to go with him as an option. I mean, we adopted his 4 younger siblings, and, wherever he goes, they will go. Which means that's where I will be. Because if they're there, then I'm there as well. So, they would have to be able to be his dependents. And we just adopted them, so they are. And, I would like our family to be looked at as any other family. It may not be the same dynamic as what we like to delude ourselves into believing what the family structure has always been. I would like for our family to be seen just as a family. I'm not saying normal, but just as a family and being accepted as one.
Well, my name is Todd Gloria. I'm a native San Diegan, a third-generation resident of my city council district, and in 2008 I was elected to represent my council district here in the city of San Diego. I get to serve on behalf of about 160,000 San Diegans and try and do what I can every day to make their neighborhoods better. As an openly gay man, I think we all have our experiences of discrimination, of feeling excluded, really not fully participating in the life of this country because of our sexual orientation. I often tell young people, particularly when I speak in schools and whatnot, I remember being a senior in high school, and I had an interest in government and in politics. I was the kid that would sit in front of the television and watch political conventions from gavel to gavel. That was just what I was interested in. And I was taking an introduction to poli-sci class. And I remember the professor standing in front of the class and he said, kids, there's 2 things you can't be if you ever want to be an elected official. The first one is gay. And I always tell people I can never remember what the second thing was because I was so flabbergasted by what was said. And what was interesting is that, at that time I didn't think about myself necessarily being an elected official, but I was disturbed that someone could tell me that I couldn't be anything I wanted to be in this country because of who I was. That really ran counter to everything I had been told in my life, that in America, if you work hard and play by the rules, you can be President of the United States, or you can be whatever you want to be. And so that was really disturbing. And I think that's a message that's told time and again to young gay people, whether they're out or not. And it's a message that's internalized. And then that's pervaded throughout the culture to the point where discrimination happens and people's abilities to fully participate in American life are curtailed. And that's why we need to have pro-equality legislation that's passed, that we can state that, particular classes of folks who are traditionally been discriminated against, that that's not right, that that's not in keeping with our values as a country. And that's why I'm a supporter and why so many people see the importance and need for the Employment Non-Discrimination Act. That when messages are being told about what you can't do, about what jobs you wouldn't be allowed to have simply because you're gay, that we as a country have to say there's really no place for that. And that we will legislatively take care of that and say that that's not allowed. So that when people may have that personal feeling whether or not you're allowed to do a certain thing, that our community has come together and said, no, that's not how we're going to work, and that everyone can fully participate in civic life in this country, whether it's in work, whether it's in housing, or in other places in life. So I'd hope to see that kind of legislation passed, because it's critically important that young people today, when they hear that kind of stuff, that they know that their community's got their back, and that would not be tolerated. As an openly gay elected official, I understand that I'm sitting here not just on behalf of my constituents, but really on behalf of an entire community, and really trying to serve as a role model to show those who may doubt the abilities of openly gay people to serve in public life that it can be done. And I enjoy representing the most diverse council district in the city. 35 different languages, people from all walks of life, refugees from Southeast Asia, from Latin America, from the Horn of Africa, communities and countries that may not be welcoming to LGBT people there, but who now have an elected official that's openly gay. And I love the opportunity to work with them on issues like making their neighborhood safe, trying to educate their children better, to improve their roads and sidewalks, and it gives them a sense to see that we're all the same, and that we all want the same things, so that we want to feel safe in our homes, that we want to live in strong and safe neighborhoods, and that we want what's best for this city. And so it's empowering to wake up every day and know that I not only have the opportunity to make my council district and my city better, but to really make a contribution for LGBT Americans who are still struggling to achieve full equality under the law, and that hopefully that through my example that I do some small part in helping to move us forward, whether that be internally within the community so that folks can look hopefully with pride at my public service, but additionally to straight people who may not have had an opportunity to interface directly with someone who is openly gay, and allow them to see that, again, we're all the same, and we all want the same things, and that we're actually stronger when we work together. I would often tell people, the LGBT rights movement is simply an extension of an ongoing dialogue that our country's had all along, in expanding rights to African Americans, to women, to immigrants, and this is another step in that. And we are a constantly evolving nation that is looking to expand fairness and rights to all of its citizens, and we still have some unfinished business when it comes to the LGBT community.
I am Yadiwa Kane. I was born female identified in New York City in the early 70s, and